Hey guys, I want to talk today about something that Gen X women feel but rarely say out loud. The quiet, creeping experience of becoming invisible. Not invisible to your children or to your close friends, but invisible to the world at large, to your workplace, to the culture, and sometimes even to yourself. And what I want you to know is that you are not imagining this. It is real. It is documented, and it is the predictable result of several intersecting forces that hit us Gen X women, specifically in midlife, all at once. In this video, I want to walk you through 4 specific dimensions of invisibility that Gen X women experience after 50. Because this is not a single thing, it's a layered thing. And when you understand each layer, something very interesting happens. You stop feeling crazy. You stop feeling like you're the only one going through something like this or feeling this way. And you start to see clearly that this experience was not caused by something wrong with you. It was caused by something very specific that happened to our generation. Now, to make this as practical and clear as possible, I'm going to walk through 4 key areas. The first is what society taught us Gen X women that our worth was based on. The second is professional invisibility and what is happening in the workplace. The third is social and relational invisibility. And the fourth is what I call the identity vacuum. And that may be the most important one of them all. But let's get into it. Hi, I'm Cathy Bracken, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am so glad you found your way here. I appreciate each and every one of you taking time to drop by and hang out with me for a bit. Don't forget to subscribe, tap that notification bell, and give the video a thumbs up. Your support this way allows me to continue creating my unique brand of self-improvement content aimed at educating, empowering, and inspiring positive transformation in you, the viewer. Now let's get back to our topic. The first area is the foundation everything else rests on, and that is what Gen X women were taught explicitly and implicitly that our worth was tied to. Now, if you came of age in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s, the message we absorbed from every direction, from advertising, from entertainment, from the way women were discussed and evaluated, was that a woman's value was significantly tied to how she looked, how youthful she appeared, how much attention she drew, and how visible she was in that particular way. Now, that was not unique to Gen X, but Gen X women were the first generation to receive this message at full volume through television, through mass media, through a beauty and fashion industry that was just hitting its cultural peak. And simultaneously, we were being told that we were strong and independent and capable of anything. Those 2 messages created a contradiction that most Gen X women have been quietly carrying for decades. And those messages are, I am capable, intelligent, and self-sufficient as a woman. And also, and I know it's not supposed to matter, some part of my worth is being seen as attractive, youthful, and desirable. And then 50 arrives, and the culture, which sent those messages so loudly for so long, gets very quiet. The advertising stops featuring us. The entertainment industry ages us out, and second glances that once happened without effort just stop. And for women who were conditioned to receive that visibility as a form of validation, even unconsciously, its absence lands like a quiet verdict. I want to name that directly because I think Gen X women feel this, and they feel ashamed of feeling it, as if acknowledging it meant that they were shallow or vain. They are not. They are human, and they absorbed a cultural message that they did not choose. And now they are living in the aftermath of that message, running up against the reality of midlife. That is not vanity, that is conditioning. And understanding the difference is the beginning of freedom from it. Now let me say something clearly because I think it needs to be said. The problem was never that you aged. The problem was that you were handed a worth system that had an expiration date built into it. And nobody told us that part. You didn't fail the system. The system was incomplete. It had a communication issue. And you are now old enough to replace it. The second area is what is happening in the workplace, and this one has real material consequences. Gen X women in their 50s are now experiencing something that researchers are calling the double invisibility of age and gender in professional settings. What that means practically is this. In workplaces increasingly dominated by millennial and Gen Z culture, Gen X women often find themselves sidelined, passed over for promotions, left out of conversations, and quietly repositioned from experienced leaders to doesn't get it anymore. Now, the irony here is significant because Gen X women at this stage in their careers are frequently at the peak of their actual competence. They have decades of lived experience. They have navigated multiple economic downturns, workplace transitions, and technological shifts. They are, by almost every measure and metric, the most capable that they've ever been. And yet the cultural messaging in many workplaces signals the opposite. Younger is fresher, newer is better, and the woman who has seen everything, who has the institutional knowledge, the decorum, the emotional intelligence, and the track record is increasingly rendered invisible in the rooms where decisions are made. This is not imagined, it is documented. And for Gen X women who tied a significant part of their identity to their professional competence, which many did, because it was the grown-up version of proving your worth, this particular invisibility cuts deep. Because it's not just that you feel overlooked. It's that you feel overlooked precisely when you have the most to offer. And that is a very specific and very painful kind of erasure. The third area is the social and relational dimension. And this one is the least talked about. And it is exactly why I think it matters the most. Gen X women in midlife describe a shift in their social presence that happens gradually and then all at once. Conversations in mixed groups that used to include them seem to flow right past them. Romantic attention, whether they are partnered or single, diminishes or changes in quality. Social media, which increasingly mediates how we experience social connections, is built almost entirely around the aesthetics and concerns of younger generations. And underneath all of that is a subtler experience, the experience of entering a room and sensing that your presence doesn't register the way it once did. That the automatic social attention that used to come easily has been quietly redistributed elsewhere. Now, I want to be careful here because some Gen X women will tell you, and they mean it genuinely, that they have found a kind of relief in this, that the pressure of being perceived has lifted. And there is a freedom in that, and I think that that experience is real and valid. But for many others, the invisibility is not a relief. It feels like a loss. And the loss is compounded by the fact that the culture has no real language for it. Nobody acknowledges it. Nobody mourns it with you. You're simply expected to proceed on in life with grace and gratitude for your blessings, and without drawing any attention to the real grief that can come with this transition. That grief is legitimate, and you don't have to pretend that it doesn't hurt you. The grown-up perspective or move should be not to pretend that it doesn't affect you. It's to feel it clearly, to understand it honestly, and decide intentionally what you want to do with it. Now, if you are in this experience right now and you need some support and want to go deeper in how to navigate it, I have resources in the description box below that are designed specifically for this. But for right now, we want to get to the fourth area because I think it is the most under-discussed, and that is what I call the identity vacuum. Here's what I mean. Gen X women spend decades building their identities around roles. The role of the capable one, the competent professional, the devoted mother, the dependable friend, the woman who handles things. These roles were not just things we did. For many Gen X women, they became who we are. And then, in midlife, those roles begin to shift. Children grow up and leave. Professional identities change or plateau. Relationships evolve. The specific shape of the life that gave us a sense of self and that structure starts to look different. And what happens when the roles that told you who you were from the start to fade or transform? For many Gen X women, the answer is this: a quiet but profound disorientation. Not a crisis exactly. Gen X women are too pragmatic for dramatic crises, but a kind of low-grade inner questioning that doesn't seem to have an easy answer. That is the identity vacuum. And here's what I want you to know about it to understand it. It is not a sign that you have lost yourself. It is a sign that the version of yourself that was built around external roles and external validation, which was always a partial self, is now creating space for something more complete to emerge. The visibility that you are seeking from the outside world cannot fill this. No amount of social recognition, professional success, or romantic attention will answer the question that midlife is actually asking you. The question is not, why can't other people see me? The question is, can I see myself clearly, fully, and without the performance? That is the grown-up work of this season of life. And it is, I would argue, the most important work you'll ever do. So let me bring this all together with a reframe that I want you to sit with. When you feel invisible, when the culture looks past you, when the workplace sidelines you, when the social attention that once came easily no longer arrives, the question worth asking is not what is wrong with me. The question is invisible to whom? And do they matter? And are they the ones who actually get to decide my worth? Because here's what the data shows. Here is what women in their 50s and 60s who have done the inner work consistently report. The visibility that matters, the visibility that leads to genuine connection, meaningful contribution, and lasting satisfaction doesn't come from external sources, and it never did. It was just easier to borrow it from external sources when you were younger, and the culture was willing to supply it. Midlife removes that supply. And that removal, as painful as it is an invitation to stop performing for an audience that was never going to give you what you actually needed. An invitation to become visible to yourself fully, honestly, and without apology. An invitation to build an identity not around your roles or your utility to others, but around who you genuinely are when all of that is stripped away. That woman is not invisible. She has simply not been properly introduced yet. And I think it is time for you to meet her. So you may be saying, Cathy, what do I do with this information now? What can I do about feeling invisible? 3 things. The first is to grieve what needs grieving. If you have experienced real loss in this season, loss of visibility, loss of identity, loss of the version of yourself that you felt most recognized, give yourself permission to feel that again. Do not rush past it in the name of being strong or grateful. Grief that is not felt does not leave. It just goes underground and shows up later as bitterness or numbness. The second is to audit your worth system. Where did it come from? Whose voice originally told you what made you valuable? Is that voice still the one making decisions about your worth at 50-something? You are old enough now to choose your own metrics. And that, my sister, is not arrogance. It is maturity. And the third is to redirect your visibility efforts inward. Instead of asking, how do I become more visible to the world? Start asking, what do I actually want to be known for the rest of my life by people who actually matter? That is a completely different question. And it points towards a completely different and far more satisfying answer. You are not disappearing. You are becoming, you are transforming into the most amazing version of yourself. And there is the profound difference. Now, before you go, if this video spoke to you, I hope that you'll subscribe, tap the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 4 dimensions resonates most with your experience? The worth system you were handed, the professional invisibility, the social shift, or the identity vacuum? Tell me below. I always read every single comment, and your answers genuinely matter. And if you know a Gen X woman in your life who is quietly navigating this, please share this video with her. She may not have the words for what she's feeling yet, but I think this may help. Well, that's all for today. I'm Cathy Bracken, and I will see you in the next video. Until next time, make today amazing and be well.